You can never visit this location in Cyberpunk 2077, which is both sad and kind of amusing when you realise that this place was featured quite heavily in concept art prior to the game's release. It was kind of hyped up to show the disparity of wealth in Night City, once again really hammering home the idea that, mass inequality really plagues this city and this universe. And much like most of Cyberpunk 2077, at launch and still to this day, this location is completely unusable outside of the playable boundaries and has never seen any kind of love from CDPR. Through the joys of modding, which is now very much possible in the years since the game's launch, I have been working on rebuilding this location from scratch. However, what makes this episode different is that rather than present you a 35-minute long video of sped up editing talking about things kind of as we're building them, I thought that for my sake and also your sake, so these videos can get out sooner, that I'll give you a tour of what has been completed, spliced with some building here and there. And the reason why I'm doing this is because from this episode I will actually be live streaming this entire building process on YouTube. Please do stay tuned and maybe even hit that bell if you want to, hit my bell to get informed of when we're going to be undertaking the next episode of this project. So the Norfolk Casino, according to the lore, which is not very fleshed out, this place isn't really in the game, so there's not a lot of information about it. This location was supposed to be a club and a casino for the absolute top 0.1% of Night City, those that quite literally wall themselves into an area where the rest of the city cannot get to. Because of this, it's pretty easy to make an informed decision that this place is luxurious, it's classy, but in fitting themes with Cyberpunk, there's also a good amount of degeneracy. And even though this place is supposed to be a safe haven from all of the peasants in Night City, ironically, these 0.1% of citizens end up doing very similar acts to those that they look down upon. So in order to create a believable environment in this place with basically nothing to go off, no pre-release images apart from this one single concept art picture, I've tried to create something which is yes, classy, yes, exclusive, but then also shows little elements of Night City which just can't help but slide in there, such as holograms, joy toys, things like that. I built this to basically be, like I said, a kind of exclusive location in an already exclusive place. So this place is pretty much that. It's walled off from the rest of the casino, which we'll get to shortly, and even inside such a private and exclusive bar, we have even further exclusivity in terms of some kind of snug. Snug referring to a private bar or some kind of environment which is quieter than the place where people want to drink, get leery. I am aware that these fog elements are really bugging out at the moment. I might have to remove them and start again, maybe there's too many of them, but something to do with the lighting in this place has recently bugged out. I don't know if it's because we're at about 1200 props in this preset, but it didn't used to do this, which is quite annoying, so this will be fixed in the future. So moving on from the private snug, we actually end up in the first interior for the casino. Now, I actually found this pretty hard to build, mostly because I have never actually been to a casino in my life. I've been to pubs with fruities, and that's about it, or pokies, wherever you're from. Slot machines, that's what I'm trying to say. And you'll probably notice that it's quite different to the private snug and the private bar. For the first time you'll see TVs in this place, quite a few of them as well, and also more neon lights, lights which are more akin to Jig Street as opposed to some kind of corporate soulless cesspit, which you can potentially see the snug and bar to look like. All of these roulette tables are unfortunately not functional. However, there is something in the pipeline which I can't say too much, but which should bring a little bit of functionality to these tables, or maybe one of the tables, we'll see. These pachinko machines are really nice. These are the only models of slot machines which have screens and don't look like shit. The other ones are these bad boys here, which are just kind of turned off, and I'm not 100% sure if they work. It looks a little bit unfinished with them here, so I may slot them. Get it? No, I may swap them. Sorry, with the pachinko ones, just because they have graphics. They look a bit more lively. That is the first casino interior, with intentions of it extending out here. And out here, the only thing I've built so far is this kind of counter, some place where you can maybe exchange chips. And then, like I said, this empty space over here needs a lot of structural work. Like this corner is completely missing. The floor is also slightly missing. And also the collision's a little bit buggy. But first I want to show you this little location here, which has been entirely built from scratch. In the vanilla environment of the North Oaks Casino, this is basically just flat, right? All of this area is completely flat and one level. So I decided to actually utilize some of the environment which CDPR left behind, i.e. these windows, because they work perfectly. They have collision, you can look out of them. In the day you get some real nice views of the surrounding areas, and you can also actually look at the outdoor area. So, you know, we're just kind of going hand in hand, you know, just kind of meeting in the middle, little handshake, little kiss on the cheek, just to acknowledge that there's a good amount of world building outside of this environment. Now, this area here is again entirely new for this casino. I used a little mod called, I think it's World Editor or something like that, which basically allows you to identify nodes in Cyberpunk's map. Nodes being either collision or meshes, so like 3D models. And then you can actually write a small script using the XL archive mod to basically despawn them from the game's environment. So this means that I have kind of crudely and not perfectly managed to actually take out a structural part of the casino and allow the player to walk down to an area which is entirely unique to this mod. And this is all, you know, completely free flow. There's no loading, there's no hitches. You can walk up and down. The stairs look a bit shit, but there's no way around that. The only stairs with collision don't have textures, unfortunately. And I think it elevates this space from something which is just chucking a load of props into a square and actually trying to think about things a little bit more, I don't know, creatively, maybe. Now, this bar right about here is actually left behind by CDPR. Likewise, some of the blue stalls, which you can kind of see towards the end of the bar, left in by CDPR. Now, I did try and despawn these and take away their collision using the world editor, but I had very mixed results, most of which would just take away the collision of the floor, so you would fall down straight away. It was very messy, so I decided it was way more hassle than it was worth. So I decided to keep the bar as CDPR intended and just flesh it out a little bit, add this nice detailing on the bottom which is consistent throughout the interior, putting some random props on the end where people have left their glasses, left their shit behind for the bar staff to clear up, and then of course just adding in little details like these waterfalls, completely covering these walls with this nice white granite, which looks fucking great, I must say, really nice. And again, just like bumping it with some structural changes, like some of these little tiles in the ground, adding in some of these little bars at the bottom, and then as well just adding in a bit of scenery, because this is a bit of an awkward space underneath here, but I basically just wanted it to be kind of like a look but don't touch sort of affair, but just kind of world building to make things sort of, you know, in video game fashion, like there's more going on which you can't quite, you know, see or get involved with or experience for yourself. So yeah, and along this wall I used some hospital tiles. I don't know when these are used in the base game, but they're really nice. I really like the colour, very reminiscent of quite a contemporary bar which you would find probably in the UK as well. Some kind of all bar one, be at one, you know, something like that, slug and lettuce, you know. Finally, we have again an entirely new area which is completely organic, which is a bathroom. There's not enough NPCs, there's not enough detailing, lighting's still a bit shit. This is my most recent build, so it's not perfect. But around the corner you'll have toilets as well, so you can go and take a poo, and they even flush as well, look at that. And yeah, it's a pretty small space, it's a little bit awkward, and unfortunately the entire environment down here is at an angle, the walls just not straight, so It was a bit of a ball ache trying to get things to look lined up like this. Little barrier at the bottom is just not straight at all, but it's near impossible with what's been left behind. Anyway, I think that really just about covers what's been going on. That is a North Oaks casino rebuilt. Guys, I do want to know what you think as always. Please check out the streams when they happen, download it in the description. Thank you so much, and as always, I'll catch you lot in a bit.